for the group, and they thought this is kind of a paradox, right? Why would it be that groups with heavy hazing rituals or big barriers to entry would somehow have members that are more devoted than other groups? You know, groups that are much easier to access. So if you look at cults, we need less talking in class. There's a lot of people talking in class. You're talking. We got to talk less. Okay, because you're disturbing your neighbors. And I've gotten complaints about you. Okay. So they were, all of you've all gotten emails about every one of you. So Ahrens and Mills are motivated by this observation that groups with strict initiation rituals seem to command great solidarity and commitment from group members. So if you look at cults are very tough to get into in some ways, but people who get in them are very devoted. Or gangs, they get you into a gang in a lot of gangs, but then they're incredibly high in solidarity and cohesion and commitment to the group. Strict churches, they also are hard to get into, but then people, when they're in there, they're stuck. They're in there. What other ones? Well, what's the one that I'm not saying that you might think of on college campus? A fraternity or a sorority, right? Fraternity or sorority, you have to say the Greek alphabet backwards and forwards before the match burns your finger. That's how every fraternity and sorority works. That's what I'm told. Very severe, you might burn your fingers. And so as a result, you love the group so much. I know, whatever. Okay. Sports teams often have hazing rituals for entry. They're not supposed to, but often they do. And then they command great solidarity and teamwork possibly as a result. What are other examples of strict groups? Hard to get into, but then great solidarity once you're in, or great commitment. The military, exactly. Thank you. The freaking military, of course. Military, very hard to get into. Who's seen Full Metal Jacket? Okay, great. I didn't know that's really a great example, but I think that's actually a really bad example. But anyway, it's kind of a good example. Anyway, yeah, boot camp. Boot camp is heroin, not just to get you into physical shape, but to give you this horrible strict initiation ritual that will then marshal your commitment to the group. So, another explanation, though, is maybe it isn't the case that the strict initiation rituals make you love the group. Maybe it's that the strict initiation rituals filter out everybody who isn't going to love the group. They just don't make it through the hazing rituals. And the only people left are the people who really already like the group a lot, right? And this is a very plausible explanation. I mean, it's probably what happens with the military and strict churches to some extent, right? They have these strict initiation rituals. Not everybody is willing to go through it. Some drop out, and then people that are left are going to be, higher in commitment than the initial group, right? So this makes perfect sense, this alternative explanation. So what would you do? What would you do in this situation if you're a social scientist? Well, if you're a social psychologist, you'll say, what we need is an experiment. In the real world, we're just not sure. We're just not sure if commitment is a result, the high commitment of high strict initiation groups, whether that's a result of stripping away the low commitment people in the initiation process, or if there's something about the initiation process that generates high commitment. So that's what they did. Ahrens and Mills were social psychologists, so they went and constructed an experiment. What kind of experiment would you want to have? You'd want to have one where a certain group of people were randomly assigned to have a strict initiation ritual before getting into a group, and another group were assigned to have a not strict initiation ritual, and that's roughly what they did. So what they did was they got three groups of women forming three conditions. They randomly assigned women to one of three conditions, and they manipulated the following independent variable. They manipulated the independent variable how strict initiation to the group was, and this created these three conditions. So in one condition, one group of women was asked to read aloud, and I'm not kidding you, explicit sexual words and passages prior to joining the group. The second group read aloud mild words and passages, and the third group read aloud nothing. So what's the treatment group? What's the experimental group here? Exactly, the first one, where they're reading these explicit sexual passages. I know in Berkeley, having to read mild passages would be a strict initiation ritual, and reading these explicit sexual words would be very normal way to get into a group. But you have to understand this is the 1950s, okay? So that was shocking. And it was shocking. To take college-age women and make them in an experiment read a bunch of sexually explicit words was definitely a strict initiation ritual. And if you think about it, a very messed up and weird experiment. But nonetheless, we're still reading it because there's a really good example of cognitive dissonance theory. Now, what is the control condition? Or in this case, control conditions. Right, the mild words and the no initiation. So there's two control conditions, because they want to be rigorous. They want to have two conditions to compare the treatment group to. So after this initiation ritual, where some women have to say sexually explicit words, other ones say mild words, and the other ones have to say nothing at all, then women were asked to listen to an incredibly boring discussion of sexual behavior in animals. Okay, so they're done with the kinky stuff and they're on to the dependent variable. Okay, that makes a lot of damn sense. All right, so finally the dependent variable was liking for the group, and they collected this by having ratings of the group discussion that followed the incredibly boring discussion. So they gave ratings of this discussion of sexual behavior in animals, and they rated the other group members. They put this together to kind of make a measure of ratings of the group. How positively did these women view the group? So they've all had, they made it one of three conditions, and they all had to listen to a boring discussion of sexual behavior in animals. I have a hard time understanding why that was boring. Certainly not eventful. And then the results were women whose initiation was severe rated the discussion and the group members higher than women who were mildly initiated or not initiated at all to the group. So these women, the ones that had to read aloud, I'm going to use this as an excuse for laser pointer. These women who had to read aloud explicit sexual words and passages prior to joining the group enjoyed the discussion of sexual behavior in animals more. Man, these people were weird. So can you think of, I already did that. Can you think of strict organizations with severe initiations? We went through that. So in a way, they're saying that this is like initiations to the military, fraternities, sororities, only with more sexual references. Wow. Okay. So that clearly supports cognitive dissonance theory. What's the cognitive dissonance story? The cognitive dissonance story is, I had to do all this stuff to get into this group. Therefore, once you wind up in the group, you go, I must like this group. Why did I go through all this to get into this group? That's the logic you're following. Great dissonance. I don't usually read aloud sexually explicit passages. I feel great dissonance. I must love the group is the way to resolve the dissonance. In these conditions, you're like, I don't have to join and get into the group. Yeah, this group is really boring and dumb. I don't really like the group very much. Okay. Another study on cognitive dissonance theory. Fessinger and Carl Smith, 1959. Remember, Fessinger invented cognitive dissonance theory. In this study, participants worked on an incredibly boring task. More boring than the last supposedly incredibly boring task. They inserted pegs into a board and then turned them quarter turns at a time for like a really long time. So yeah, I know, whatever. Yeah, they were actually required to put pegs in a board and then turn them, and I don't know how they were convinced this has to do with psychology, but they were somehow convinced of this. They rated this task as bad and boring, right? I mean, because it is bad, it is boring. But then the participants were asked if they would be willing to persuade the next participant in the study that the task was actually really interesting. So they're being asked by the experimenter, will you lie to the next participant in the study and tell them this is an awesome task? Like each quarter turn is more stimulating than the last, you know? And again, because it's the 1950s, they all did it, okay? So everybody did it because they're like, yes, Mr. Experimenter, sir, we'll do that, of course. I notice people don't do that anymore. Okay, and then the participants, they were either paid $1 to do this or $20. So when they're told, do you mind telling the next person that this is an awesome task, we'll give you $1, and in the other condition, we'll give you $20. Whoa, sorry. And the dependent variable was participants had to rate the task again. They already rated it as bad and boring, and now they come back after having been given $1 or $20 to tell somebody that the task is awesome, which is a lie, and then they rate the task again. So in which condition do you think they'll rate the task as better, as more awesome? I didn't understand what you said. Can you give your answer again, $1 or $20? Okay, so people are divided in their opinion. That's what I didn't understand. Okay, so when I first saw this experiment, I was like, the $20 condition, obviously, right? They're given $20. That's going to make the task a little bit better, right? You're going to go, $20. All right, well, this task was kind of awesome. I made $20 since the 1950s, so that's $6 million in today's dollars. But in fact, those of you who said $1 are the ones that are right. Either because you're brilliant or you read ahead in the readings. And what happened was, The participants who were paid $1 actually rated the task as better after the fact, after the end of the study. Why did they do this? The reason that they did this is because of cognitive dissonance theory. That's the way to make sense of this situation. So look for the dissonance. Those who were paid $20 to lie felt great dissonance. They said, they felt very little dissonance. They said, well, the task was boring, and then I lied to some innocent person and said it was going to be awesome. But why did I do it? I did it because they paid me $20 friggin', and that's $6 million in 2009. I'm going to be rich in 2009. And this makes sense, right? You know, you're bought off. They've essentially added a cognition, right? They've added a third cognition. You made $20. That resolves the dissonance between the two cognitions. This task is boring. I told this person it's not boring, which is also at odds maybe a third cognition. I'm an honest person. So yeah, this additional cognition of you got $20, they bought you off. That's why you did it. No dissonance. But those who were paid $1 to lie to the other person, they felt a lot of dissonance. What did they say to themselves? They said, well, the task was boring, and then I lied about it because it's the 1950s and I do what people tell me to do. And I did it for just one crummy dollar. You know, why did I do that? Well, maybe it wasn't that bad of a lie. Maybe the task wasn't all that bad. Yeah, that's it. The task wasn't all that bad. And so when they go to rate it again, they say, no, that task was okay because I wouldn't lie. I'm not a dishonest person, and I'm gonna get a dollar. So it's a very counterintuitive finding. And in some ways, this study is the kind of classic cognitive dissonance. What the? Okay. Okay. In some ways, it's the classic cognitive dissonance theory experiment. There's a lot of experiments like that, where you're going to expect one finding, well, like half of you didn't, but whatever. Where you might expect one finding and you'll get the other. You expect severe initiations, reduce liking for the group. You expect when the prophecy fails, people will disregard their belief in the, what are they called? The guardians. And you think when you're paid $20, you're going to like a task better than when you're paid $1. This is a diagram which I made, no, I didn't make this, but a colleague of mine made this, and so I threw it in here. It only explains the same thing we just explained. So, oh, and by the way, this is what I found out last year about this experiment. It's very famous. The social psychologists like sit around, have drinks, talk about the study. I'm sure you'll be doing that too this weekend. And one time we were talking about this, and somebody told me they actually gave back, they made the people give back the $20. Like, how messed up is that? It's so messed up. They didn't even just fund the study. Like one of the most famous studies in the history of social psychology, and they were too cheap to just spend, you know, $1,000 paying these people the amount of money. You can't do that now. You really, really can't do that. But I mean, it was, you know, $20 is a lot of money then. Okay, so some more examples. The political cognitive dissonance producing situations. You can think, how would you resolve the dissonance? The political candidate you support is caught lying about something. What do you do? What do you do? Do you just admit, yes, the political candidate I love is dishonest? No, you probably don't do that. You see a film with a friend. You like it, she or he doesn't. What do? Not a friend anymore. Not a friend of yours. No one you need to spend time with. Alternatively, you know the Cal is superior to Stanford, which they are. Yeah, I know. But Stanford manages to win the big game. They get incredibly lucky. It doesn't make any sense. It rarely happens. But every once in a while it happens. Injustice happens. You know, the rivers reverse the stream. You know, and what do? If you like me, you panic and riot in the streets. That's what you do. You just run out into the street, tearing your hair out, screaming to the heavens. Or perhaps the most cognitive dissonance producing event in your entire life: one banana screen while the other two are yellow. That's the picture that came up when I put cognitive dissonance into Google Images. That's why you keep seeing it throughout this whole presentation. So, dissonance reduction. Another example. After a decision, we tend to increase our liking for the option we choose and decrease our liking for rejected options. This is nice. It's like this built-in thing that makes you comfortable with your decisions. Now, of course, there's also a documented pattern called, what's the opposite of this? Anybody heard the documented pattern is the opposite of this? Buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse. So which one's true? The cognitive dissonance one is more true. Why? Because social psychologists came up with that, and buyer's remorse came up with somebody else, like organizational behavior economists, so therefore they're wrong in this room. No, in actuality, that's the place where we could use some really, really good experimental research. But the lion's share of the research suggests that when you pick something, you increase your liking for it, and you decrease your liking for rejected options. And they did a lot of really nice research on this in the 60s. So this brings up a big question. Is dissonance reduction good? Your brain does this naturally, without really you're consenting to it. And it just does this in the course of social perception. You don't really get a chance to stop it, so you're stuck with it. So what should we think about it? You're stuck with it. Well, according to cognitive dissonance theory, you should like it, because you're stuck with it. Just say, that's supposed to be funny. Okay, so it's hard to say. Certainly, blatant hypocrisy is bad. Maintaining completely opposed cognitions would be bad. You'd be a hypocrite, and it would make it hard to navigate the world, right? If you can't create solid expectations about what's going to happen in the future, it's very hard to know, whether you should touch the stove that's hot, whether you should cross the street in front of the bus, and so on. But you need to have a simple set of rules, or relatively simple, that you can use quickly in life to navigate the world. And if you have a bunch of contradictions, well, that's going to be hard to do. You're not going to know what to do in lots of situations. But at the same time, tolerance for the complexities and ambiguities in the world can be a good thing, especially in a science class, especially in a social psychology class. It's very good to realize there are gray areas and complexities, and those are real. So, the world is not all black and white, and those with high tolerance for ambiguity, like the people that have personality types that can tolerate gray areas and contradictions, they do less dissonance reduction when cognitive dissonance happens. They also do better in college. They're rated better supervisors, they're less neurotic, less fearful, and they tend to be more creative, and you can bet they like modern art better, right? So maybe, if you can, do a little less dissonance reduction, because you're going to get a better grade in this class, according to research. Yeah. Yes, children do dissonance reduction, definitely. Though I don't know, there's probably some developmental psychology data on that would be more reliable than just my quick response to you. So, yeah, let me know if you find it, because I think that'd be interesting to know more about. Yes, sir. The Korean, you're making references to the Cialdini book? Okay, the Korean War examples, I think those are commitment and consistency. Oh no, commitment and consistency works through cognitive dissonance. Once you commit yourself to some path, then your cognitions tend to fall in line with that path. So once you read aloud an anti-American statement, your attitudes will supposedly become more anti-American. Very similar to you lied about it for very little reward, your thoughts fall in line with that behavior, that unrewarded behavior. So yes, all of these are examples of cognitive dissonance theory and dissonance reduction. Okay, so on whether dissonance reduction is good, what would Ralph do? This is a good question to ask yourself. I tend to do this just about every day. What would Ralph Waldo Emerson do? Ralph Waldo Emerson said, a foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of little minds. Most famous quote about consistency ever. So Ralph Waldo Emerson would say, have some tolerance for ambiguity, have some ability to maintain vaguely contradictory thoughts in your head, because it will allow you to have more accurate cognitions and a greater appreciation for the gray areas that are actually true in the world. Okay, so how can you use cognitive dissonance to your advantage? And here I'm stealing, just stealing from Lavalia. But that's okay, he's a buddy of mine, so you do okay with that. So minimizing your need for consistency is not the only insight of use here. These cognitive dissonance studies can also bring us to a great social psychological discovery, and that is the following. And this is, I'll quote Michael so that he's not offended. We think that thought precedes behavior. We think that we have a thought and we go to a behavior, and certainly that's sort of true. Though we'll undermine that a little bit later in the semester when we talk about automaticity. But it may be just as true that behavior follows, that behavior precedes thought, that thought follows behavior. Because that's all these cognitive dissonance studies are saying, right? That if you're somehow compelled by a situation or an impulse or something like that to behave in some way, your thoughts will then fall in line with it. You buy something. It was a tough choice, but you bought it. Your thoughts will fall in line with that decision and start to say, wait, the thing I bought, that was a lot better than the rejected alternatives. You lie to somebody, you start to say, wait, that wasn't really a lie, that was a pretty good decision. You commit yourself to a cult. You come to believe that all the things they're telling you are true. And this is a powerful observation. We don't just think and then behave, we also behave and then think. This is a big observation. And it's also tremendously useful to apply in everyday life. So what did William James say about this topic? 60 years before cognitive dissonance theory was discovered, William James was talking about these exact principles, the first psychologist. So William James said, we need only in cold blood act as if the thing in question were real, and keep acting as if it were real, and it will infallibly end by growing into such a connection with our life that it will become real. So if you want to think something, behave in that way, your thoughts will fall in line. Or Alcoholics Anonymous, they say, bring the body, the mind will follow. You want to be a person who isn't addicted to alcohol mentally, cut yourself off from alcohol, and you'll become that person gradually. So, whoa, totally unnecessary. I don't remember doing that, sorry. Okay, so think of the $1, $20 study. If you behave in some way, your attitude will tend to fall in line with that behavior, as I just told you. Then what the? You can use this to make your life better. Don't think like you're the person you want to be, act the way you want to be, and you'll become that person. So Lavallee emphasizes the strategic use of affirmations, right? You go to Cafe Gratitude and order a meal, and you have to affirm yourself and your self-esteem and all that stuff. It sounds goofy. It sounds like that guy from Silent Life. What's that guy's name? Stuart Smalley, when you all were 3 years old. Okay. The strategic use of affirmations may seem very silly, but it is actually a way to feel better about yourself. How to do it? How can you make your thoughts fall in line with the behavior? Don't just think positive thoughts about yourself. Write them down. Turn it into a behavior. State them out loud. They'll have a lot bigger effect on your thoughts subsequently. So strategic use of affirmations. For more details on that, look at Lavallee. It's a way to feel better about yourself. You want to be a non-smoker? Change the behavior first. I spent 10 years trying to be a non-smoker and failing. And I think a lot of it had to do it. I had this stupid theory about how you change your thoughts about things. I thought, I'm going to wake up one day and not want to smoke. That was dumb, and I just never woke up that way. And so eventually I made like a binding contract. I told my friends I'm quitting on this day. I did, and then now I don't want cigarettes. It's a beautiful thing. Other things. Behave honestly, you'll become truly honest. Give to others, you'll become more generous. Talk to strangers, and you'll become outgoing, right? Like you want to be an outgoing, fun person, go to that party, you know? Then you'll be putting yourself in a situation where your behaviors will go in some direction, your thought will tend to follow. So go out and have fun, become happier, do the right thing, be a righteous person. Okay. So now let's take a 3-minute break, and then we'll start back with balance theory. If I can get your attention, we'll get started. If I get your attention, you always send a really good example. Just kidding. Okay. All right. If I get your